Hello, intrepid viewers and trendsetters everywhere. Thanks for tuning in. So we've got some juicy topics today, thanks to you guys. So if I have a coughing fit, don't worry. I've rat tested, I'm fine, but I have got this weird cough. Now, what I'm reading on today, a few juicy things. One is Mary Trump is suing for her inheritance again. Go Mary. We'll look at that. I'm even making an exception and reading on Meghan and Harry. Intrepid viewers will know I'm not fond of the royals, right? I simply don't believe in being born to rule. I have a fundamental problem with that. And I've got to do it secretly because my dear father would roll in his grave if he knew I was even looking at them. However, we will. And what else? Mark Burnett from The Apprentice. We might start with this one. A viewer asked to look at him. Now, some of you will go, Mark Burnett, and others will go, who? Okay, he's the producer of The Apprentice. And as we all know, had it not been for The Apprentice, the Yeti would not have had the pulling power back in 2015 and 16 that he did. And Mark Burnett, for his own reasons, chose this project because everyone in New York knew, for entertainment purposes only, but I think it's all on the record, he was a bodgy, dodgy, multiple bankrupt business failure of the first order. But Mark Burnett decided to reinvent him as a successful businessman, which is what all the MAGAs fell for. You know, I don't understand either way. I mean, I don't understand why, if you're a steel worker who's lost their job in the Rust Belt, you'd think a billionaire from New York would save you. I never did get that. But anyway, so let's have a look, because the other thing that's juicy is people who worked on the show, technicians and camera people and things like that, we know from their different interviews over the time, there is footage of him being sleazy, of using the N-word, of them having to clear out his nostrils before the next shot. Don't go there. What an image. Ooh, yuck, sorry. All of that. So Mark Burnett chose to promote this man as the success that he was. Let's have a look. Will Mark Burnett ever release some of that footage? I'm sure people are itching to see it, really. Will he ever turn away from the Yeti or not? You know, he made a fortune as well. So what's the story with Mark Burnett? Let's have a look. Mark Burnett. Okay. Here we go. Bit of a chance. Okay. So in here, center stage, we have the 10 of Cups. Now, this is, in political terms, this is my GOP card and my fake Happy Families card. Now, for those of you who have the One World Tarot and you're reading for normal people, it's a lovely card, but in the political context, fake families, fake values, fake everything, presenting everything as a rainbow, you know. So that's him. It was a strategy from the beginning to do this with this man, right? It was quite deliberate because you could, let me have my first digression, viewers. You couldn't work with him without knowing how hopeless he was. And apparently they used to have to simplify everything that he had to say he would say things, because he does talk in word salads. So that's a nightmare for television. But he was prepared to, do all that covering up for him, all of that. No, he's not going to do anything quickly at all. I don't think at all. He made money and he's holding on to money. But pentacles are also your values. Now I'm thinking about him for a minute, Mark Burnett. I think he's very religious or something weird, but this is clinging on. The sword of truth comes out here, which gave me a bit of hope, and the King of Swords. So there's a possibility, maybe it could be an expose with these two things. It could be an expose by someone who worked on The Apprentice or something like that. We might hear, after enough years have gone by, someone does it. It won't shift the MAGA faithful. But no, he's happy to do the cover-up. I don't know why these hyper-Christians support this hypocritical, lecherous guy, but they do. So that's it for Mark Burnett. Wish I had better news. Now, before I get into Meghan and Harry and Mary, a viewer asked about the Russian Orthodox Church. So if we cast our eyes back through history, when communism took over in 1917, there was virtually the banning of religions. Of course, religious people still worshipped in secret, etc. And then in more recent times, the Russian Orthodox Church was allowed to flourish. And his name is Kirill. I'm sorry if that's bad pronunciation, Kirill. Apparently his father baptized Putin himself. Ooh, family connections. So the point of this question, I'll get to it in a sec, I've got to think about it. The Russian Orthodox Church under Kirill has become closer and closer to the state, the Kirill-Putin relationship. That's what I'll read on. And apparently, you can check this and verify it for me or not, but apparently the biggest of Russia's weapons, including nuclear weapons, have the Russian Orthodox cross on the silo that they're held in and things like that. It's a real thing. He has also come out in support of the conflict in Ukraine. So he's bosom buddies with Putinska. So I want to look at their relationship and how this impacts on people who are devout. So statistically, like everywhere else, I'm sure it's the over 50s who are the most devout, and they are the ones who are most primed to accept state news and all of that. So let's look at the relationship between Putinska and the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. I just heard mafia. I don't know what mafia is in Russian. Perhaps you can enlighten me. And I think you'll find if you scratch the surface, Kirill's got a bit of money stashed away. But let's have a look. Okay, the relationship. Oh. Let me get these up. Now, the relationship itself is out in the cold, and these figures are walking past the church, but they're so ground down by their circumstances, they can't see the light and sanctuary of the church. I think this card is kind of literal. So if you're going to the supermarket and the shelves are still empty and your ruble goes nowhere and your only child is either serving on the battlefields of Ukraine or on the run in Finland or Sweden or Georgia or something, you're getting a bit disenchanted. Oh, didn't expect that. Now, underneath it, this has been a win-win for both of them. So Putin can be the hero of the hour of bringing back the religion in a big way, etc., etc. And this is the Russian Orthodox clergy, I think, having a very nice life, thank you, as a repercussion of that, right? You know, Garden of Eden stuff. However, now we get into these cards. Things are very obscure and difficult now. It is getting harder and harder, and someone could argue, especially me, that it's getting to be impossible to support this invasion. Okay. And so I think Kirill is struggling with that. When things are rosy, it's all very well, but now the doodah has hit the fan. Not so easy. Interesting. 10 of Swords. This relationship is not good. Does that mean Kirill will break away under pressure? I doubt it, because I think he's in it up to his little hairy testicles. So I think this is problematic for both men. Outcome, Page of Pentacles, which is news. News about money. News about the Five of Pentacles. I think this is pressure. I think individual Orthodox priests in different regions are getting the message from their people. What is happening here? What is happening? I'm just going to do a couple of clarifiers. The other thing that's happened during the week, now China and India were both dancing around at least taking Putin's calls and sort of supporting him in some way against the West. However, Narendra Modi of India cancelled the meeting with Putin recently. That is a big deal. Okay, so back to Putin's relationship, the Russian Orthodox Church. How can the church support a modern war? How can that happen? Outcome, please. Okay. Oh, money. Money, money, money. Must be funny. It's a rich man's world. Okay, so denaro, money, these are Italian cards. Celebrating the money and the connection. This is Kirill. And this is Kirill. Hoping it'll all just blow over. And I can go back to earning obscene amounts of money in the name of God while I administer to my impoverished population. This is not a good man for entertainment purposes only. He's not just right-wing, he's embedded, you know, he's actually totally embedded. Ew, yucky poo. Don't like that, don't like him, don't like it. Okay, now putting these back. Let's look at Mary Trump. Don't you love her? Yeah. So she calls a spade, and she's very upfront with her podcast, and she has interesting people on too. But if you remember, the basic story is she was ripped off from her inheritance when her father died, not just by the Yeti, but by the Yeti's sister. I think the one who's the judge. You know, let's not forget, the whole family is pretty awful. So her argument now legally is she was forced, she was coerced, And one of the ways they coerced her was to threaten to withdraw medical insurance for her nephew, who was very, very ill. And she was only young then, and she buckled under the pressure. And now she's saying the agreement shouldn't stand. I was coerced. And she must have something to back that up. And let's have a look how that case will pan out. Go, Mary. Go, Mary. Love her. There, it's in progress. Knight of Pentacles, Temperance. That's not bad. I think she's going to win. I do. So the first card was putting all the ducks in a row, because, oh, my glasses, sorry, they're driving you insane because they're crooked. She's done her homework on this. She has a good lawyer. It would be a team, but a very good lawyer, probably a woman at the top of the legal chain, who has said, you've got a case. Knights are offers and opportunities. There's an opportunity to win this money back with these pentacles. Temperance, which is very similar to the Justice card in many ways, and about balance and restoring harmony and all those things. Major Arcana, followed by another Major Arcana, the World. So God knows we all know these legal things take years. So we're probably looking at 3 years or something till a result. But it will be the end of a huge symbolic cycle for her, because I think she's fighting this not just for herself. For whatever reason, she's much more altruistic and out there and compassionate than the rest of her entire extended family. But it will bring her some relief for her father, who had a very hard time growing up as, I think, the eldest son of the truly hideous Fred Trump. And I think it's always wrangled, and I think she has a very good opportunity here. Oh, bless you, Mary. Now, I will look at Meghan and Harry. So I will not be watching the Netflix, but things are very bad and very strained between the brothers and all of that. The UK media took to Meghan viciously. Harry, as a comparatively sensitive young thing, because his mother was hounded to her grave by the paparazzi, I think was entitled to think he would get more support from that, and he didn't. So, but what I'm looking at now, because as I've said before, he is wealthy in his own right. The royal family own so much, and he had an inheritance from his mother and all of that. They don't have to be writing books and doing Netflix. They're doing it. I don't know why they're doing it. Let's have a look. Why are they doing it? But let's have a look at them, their marriage and general outcome. Let's have a look. Very nice card. Oh, big cards. Oh, my word. Oh, that's not pretty. Well, so it starts off well. Okay. Central position, the star. And this would suggest to me, this is truly a love match. They really do adore each other. And with enough home help, I'm sure they're fine. I think they're trying to be good parents to the children, but I'm sorry, if you're born to that sort of fame and notoriety and profound wealth, And you have drivers and gardeners and nannies and I'm sorry. Anyway, I think they're doing their best, as Diana did, to try and give the boys as much exposure to real life as they could. It's not what you or I would recognise as real life, but, you know, well-intentioned. So there's a lot of good things going on in this card. Underneath, they feel compelled to speak out, which answers my own question in terms of why are they doing this? They would say they need the money, but I'm sorry, I think you should be able to struggle on with, you know, 100-odd million. I think you should be able to manage. But anyway, obviously not. But I don't think they're just driven by money. So this is feeling compelled to tell their side of the story. This right next to the star card is what makes me think it is a genuine love union. This is the lovers. But now we get into the yucky poo card. So I think Harry might feel robbed on some level of his inheritance. I think that's maybe what it was talking about. And together as a couple, although they were the ones who decided to go, that they were under phenomenal pressure to do it. So there's a feeling of being disgruntled. They also feel that they're held hostage now, I think, to the royals, but probably to their fame as well. But you can't have it both ways. You can't milk your fame at every opportunity and then moan about it. You know, they do feel restricted. However, with this Eight of Swords reminder, they can emerge from that. They could probably live more normal lives if they chose to. I think they're probably both battle scarred from the hideous experiences they had in the UK. But the US press, let me know, viewers, but the US press seems to leave them alone, really. You know, so I don't know that they're as restricted as they think they are. But look, not sour grapes, but as a viewer pointed out to me, where is this? Who are they mixing with? Whoever, where was it? Oh, yeah. A viewer said to me that one of their interviews, or one of them or more of them, were at the home of Mark Schuloff, who pocketed $116 million of money that was destined for veterans. A shocking guy. So the problem is, I think they're both genuinely nice people, but they're in such a rarefied world. If you're going to stay with your two children at someone's place, I think you should know what they do for a living. And if it's ripping off veterans, I think you choose another place, don't you? Really, wouldn't you? So by all means, check that out and keep me in the loop. I'm here freezing in the Australian summer. There is snow on the mountains. So Australia is a huge continent. So the north is warm, you know, it's having a normal-ish summer, but the southern half, snow on the mountains. What the? All right. So I'm chuffing off now. But you know how immensely I adore you guys. Besitos. Oh, Argentina into the finals of the World Cup. I'm sorry for any French viewers, but I am so going for Argentina. Vamos. Ciao, ciao.